The last 5 years I was with Shell, I was in an executive position. I managed the global deep water well construction operations for Shell. I think the biggest difference that I had after working with Philip some was to be more objective in my perspective, particularly when it came to stakeholders, whether it's stakeholders lateral to me in the organization, above me, or people that were working for me. What it did was allow me to step outside myself and to consider things from different angles. And so from that viewpoint, I became more objective, more understanding, and that actually did two things. One thing it did was allow me to take a little bit of breath and be more deliberate in the way I was looking at things and get in more of an inquiry mode. And the other thing, of course, it certainly did was help me understand why people did the things that they did, which often, almost always, resulted in me realizing that, well, there's another way to view things, and it made me more effective in dealing with people and dealing with the issues and finding solutions that work better for the organization. I would use the word inquiry. I think that I became more inquiring. I more of a tendency to sit back and listen more. And the more I did that, the more I realized how powerful a tool that was. I think all of us have high expectations. All of us would like to do well. And oftentimes I think I would show up reasonably well, but I think working with Philip, I became more deliberate, more thoughtful, more objective, and how I understood my performance. And frankly, Philip challenged me in a very constructive way. It wasn't all just compliments working with Philip. He was very objective, and he would let me know when I did good, and we talk about things. He'd also let me know when, Jeff, I think you let yourself down. So I think the ability to set those expectations realistically and be able to talk about that both ahead of time and the result of that allowed me to show up differently and allowed me to be more consistent and raise my game, so to speak. And in that regard, I would come out to the rest of the organization more consistent. I would be more objective in the way I would deal with people, and the end result was more effective. I hope that leadership is not just about work. I like to think that leadership is in every aspect of our lives. Everybody has the opportunity to do that. And so certainly many of the things that I learned in working with Philip in the executive coaching are things that I've taken over to my personal life, whether it's my immediate family, whether it's old friends that I've had, whether it's new people that I meet and other ventures that I may get into. So to me, life is a wonderful thing. It certainly doesn't stop at any one milestone, and the leadership part of it is certainly doesn't stop either. Well, I would tell them it's a great investment. And when I say investment, there certainly is the aspect that you pay for services, but that's not probably the biggest investment. I think the biggest investment is the time and energy a person puts into it to really improve their leadership effectiveness. And it is a great investment because it gives returns that are so valuable to the organization. I had numerous staff that worked for me that had high potential in the organization, and after working with Philip, I made it a push to get many of them in the same program being an executive coaching program where they can experience the same thing. They could have somebody that was there to help them look at things more objectively, help them set out their expectations, and not just set out the expectations and what the goals are, but realistic path on how they can achieve them, and realistic objective look into how they were performing. Were they meeting that criteria that they set for themselves? Were they falling off? And if not, why? So I think it is just a tremendous investment with an excellent return to be able to have somebody that can help you work through that whole journey around effective leadership.